Coming up, Virginia's governor visits areas hit hard by flooding earlier this week.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We begin in Buchanan County, Virginia, where Governor Glenn Youngkin surveyed the damage in hard-hit flood zones in southwest Virginia. Youngkin visited volunteers and victims as damage assessments continue following Tuesday's flood. Glenn Kittle reports on those who were affected by the flood and the governor's plans for relief.
In his first visit to southwestern Virginia since floodwaters ravaged parts of Buchanan County, Governor Youngkin reacts to what he sees.
So the damage is extensive. It's extensive, and you can't help but have your heart sink when you see someone's home lifted up and moved off its foundation, moved down the road.
Youngkin spoke with those leading the relief effort. Local and national groups are coming together to coordinate their efforts to gather supplies and get them to hard-hit flood victims.
You just watch the whole community come together. It's so inspiring, and the reality is that the spirit of Virginia is alive here.
Youngkin made a mobile tour through the most flood-affected areas. In Pilgrim's Knob, M&M Body Shop lost millions of dollars worth of equipment. Employees here at this family-owned business watched their American dream drown in a nightmare flooding event.
When I went in the garage and opened the door between the garage and our offices, the water rushed in just like you see on the movies. I was filling the room up. It just, grace of the Lord above, I could get the door open to get out to the window right here.
Moore says a lot of people in the area are unable to buy flood insurance because it's a high-risk flood area. He adds government help is needed to get this community back on its feet.
And if the government, or somebody don't step in and help these people, I have no idea what they're going to do.
Youngkin is reassuring the flood victims. He plans to pursue every avenue to drive federal relief funding to Buchanan County.
We've got funds from the United States that flow all over the world. And I think there's people all over the world that need them. Well, there's people right here in Virginia that need them a lot. And so we're gonna make sure that people recognize, first of all, the extent of this damage and the fact that we've got to both federal and state come together and get some help.
That was Glenn Little reporting. The Virginia Department of Energy Management reports around 400 structures. 400 were damaged during the flooding. The effort to hand out donated goods is ongoing at Twin Valley Elementary School. Right now, Virginia's Department of Emergency Management says the most needed items include water, trash bags, and cleaning supplies. Organizations like United Way and the Red Cross are on scene to help get those items to those most in need. And even with the help of volunteers, aid workers worry true recovery could take much longer.
We're afraid it may take at least a year or two. We plan to be here at the distribution center for at least 2 weeks, and we'll prolong that if necessary, just depending on our water source.
Twin Valley Elementary is the main distribution center for those affected by the flood to come receive donations. We have instructions for those interested in contributing posted on our website.
The weather is calm across the mountains tonight, but we are watching out for some changes, especially as we get towards the second half of your weekend. Here is a live look over at the London Corbin Airport. All is quiet. Current temperature is sitting at 71 degrees. And over at I-64 in Moorhead, same story. We are looking at calm conditions tonight across our area. High temperatures a little bit above average in the upper 80s. 88 the popular number for Monticello, London, here in Hazard, over in Ashland. 85 in Jackson, and 84 the high temperature over in Pikeville. Temperatures tonight are falling into the upper 60s and lower 70s. 75 still in Jackson, 70 for Prestonsburg, 64 in Clintonwood, and 66 over in Williamsburg. All is quiet on Pinpoint Doppler, and this quiet weather does continue as we go into tonight. Temperatures falling into the middle 60s, but like I mentioned, more showers and storms are likely as we get into your Sunday and Monday. I have that full forecast coming up in just a little bit. Steve.
All right, Cameron, thank you. Middlesboro police are looking for a missing man tonight. Kyle Wiggins was last seen on July 8th in the area of Willow Street, close to the Binghamtown four-way. He has short brown hair, green eyes, and a short beard or goatee. Police say Wiggins was last seen wearing a gray t-shirt, blue shorts, and carrying a black skateboard and a camouflage backpack. If you have any information, you can call Middlesboro Police at 606-248-3636. The Thin Blue Line Showcase kicked off today at Wesley Christian School in Allen, following the shooting in Allen that left 3 officers and a K-9 officer dead. Many staff members at Wesley Christian wanted to give back to the community. The tournament featured local teams as well as teams from neighboring states. Many athletes competing in this weekend's tournament knew the officers personally, such as Ralph Frazier, who was Prestonsburg High's school resource officer.
I've seen on Facebook some of my guys, some of my players that, wrote about, Officer Frazier, after the passing and stuff. So, it was tough for me because I didn't, I just got here. So, but to see those guys, how it affected them, they were very emotional.
Event organizer and Wesley Christian School head basketball coach Sean Ward said more games are on the schedule for Saturday, tomorrow, beginning at 2 p.m. One of the officers injured in the shootout 2 weeks ago had a special guest today in the hospital. UK basketball coach John Calipari posted on social media that he visited with Floyd County Sheriff's Deputy Darren Lawson and his fiancee in Lexington. Coach Cal asked everyone to keep them and all the families affected in your prayers. A Powell County family is trying to raise money for a young woman paralyzed in a swimming accident. Kayla Lacey spent weeks in intensive care. Now she's going through rehabilitation. Tomorrow, her loved ones are holding a silent auction and poker run at the R&B Country Kitchen in Clay City. Registration for that starts at 9 a.m. There will also be live music all day. The man seen on camera leading Berea police on a chase in his tractor was in court today. Jared Worley is facing a list of charges. Witness video shows him leading police on a chase through a golf course. He caused more than $1,000 in damage. Police say he also almost ran over 2 bicyclists. A not guilty plea was entered on his behalf. He's due back in court next week. Williamsburg police officers say a man with a previous violent conviction was sentenced to 5 years in prison. James A. Anderson pleaded guilty to 1 count of being a convicted felon in possession of a gun and 1 count of meth possession on Wednesday. The gun, which had been stolen, was later returned to its owner. Officials say Anderson was previously charged with murder in 2008 and later pleaded guilty to an amended charge of manslaughter in 2010. Folks experiencing mental health issues will have a new resource starting tomorrow. 988 is a new national mental health hotline which anyone can call to speak with a trained counselor. The counselor will then help direct the caller towards local resources. System Director of Behavioral Health at ARH, Brian Myers, recommends contacting your local community mental health center before it turns into a crisis. School safety experts briefed Kentucky's Interim Education Committee on plans to prevent or potentially respond to violent acts on campuses. One of the major focuses is on putting school resource officers on every campus. The director for the Kentucky Center for School Safety says there are currently 523 school resource officers in Kentucky. Another 600 are needed to meet the requirements of House Bill 63 by the August 1st deadline. The May school shooting in Uvalde, Texas was also the point of some legislator questions today.
Is there anything there that we have in place that could have prevented what happened in Uvalde?
Mental health was also discussed, specifically from educators in northern Kentucky who have screened students in threat assessments. They say they started out with 16% of the students reporting victimization, and now that's down to 4%. Quick response teams, or QRTs, are spreading across Appalachia with the mission of serving the community. The Perry County Quick Response Team implemented the Situation Table with the goal of uniting with other agencies to combat local problems. Director Sandra Boucher says agencies will meet weekly with the goal of solving community issues situation by situation.
It's not meant to be ongoing case management. It's basically intervene and take care of the situation the best we can.
The Perry County Quick Response Team is the second in the state to implement the situation table behind the QRT in Paducah. Well, the state has released its newest COVID-19 Transmission Map. Take a look. There are several more counties that have moved into the high transmission level. And as you can see, nearly all of eastern Kentucky is now in the red, with Jackson County being the only green county in our region. This week, the state reported a positivity rate of nearly 17%. The State Cannabis Advisory Committee is meeting next week in Frankfort. That meeting is happening next Tuesday at the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. The governor is asking folks to show up for public comment to talk about how medical marijuana could benefit them. There is also a website where people can leave comments about medical marijuana. That's medicalcannabis.ky.gov. Next week's meeting starts at 5:30. A 3-year project in Laurel County to widen Interstate 75 was completed this week. I'm sure lots of folks down there will be happy about that. The $120 million project expanded the 14-mile northbound and southbound highway from 4 to 6 lanes. In northern Laurel County, work included building 2 new bridge overpasses on US 25, adding truck climbing lanes near Woods Creek Lake, and widening 10 miles of road from south of Kentucky 909 to exit 41 in London. All lanes are expected to open tomorrow. Kentucky Office of Highway Safety officials are partnering with law enforcement across the state for the Not So Fast Kentucky Speed Awareness Campaign through July 31st. KOHS officials say 24% of crashes in Kentucky involve a speeding or aggressive driver. Officials provided the following tips for dealing with speeding and/or aggressive drivers. Wear your seatbelt. Do not challenge the driver by speeding up or attempting to hold your lane. Give them plenty of space. If you can safely report an aggressive driver to law enforcement, provide a vehicle description, license number, location, and if possible, direction of travel. If an aggressive driver is following you, drive to a safe place such as the nearest police or fire station, gas station, or other areas where there are people. Use your horn to get someone's attention. Do not get out of your car, and do not drive home. Governor Andy Beshear and Ohio Governor Mike DeWine revealed a new project linking the Bluegrass and Buckeye states. A new bridge will be built as a companion to the already existing Brent Spence Bridge. The new structure will be roughly 14 acres and 8 feet in width. This will direct interstate travel to 71 and 75 over the new bridge, while those traveling into the downtown area of Cincinnati are expected to take the Brent Spence. A second federal grant application is being submitted so that groundbreaking for the new bridge can take place by the fall of 2023. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, local folks are still trying to help Ukrainians as the Russian invasion continues. We'll take you to a fundraising event tonight in Richmond.
And the weather is calm tonight, but what can you expect for your weekend? I have those details coming up.